Alright, so we're back again. I should probably point out that the next time you guys see me, I'm gonna try to stuff the wall behind me with more like cartoon related things. Like, I don't know if you can you can see it, but I've got like a Gravity Falls fan art there. There's an Avatar poster there, but I could add a lot more stuff. So just saying that for next time. But yeah. Um, I'm surprised Ridley Scott's making another movie. Like another one of his movies is coming out in 2017,
Oh man.
and this is not a sci-fi movie. This is wow. I just realized this year there'll be three movies he had like a big part in. Like there is Alien Covenant, Blade Runner 2049, and then All the Money in the World. And Steven, like, it's funny. I remember, like, we sat down once, and I basically said, in filmmaking, I tend to be more of a story-driven guy, and you're more of a visual sort of guy. But when it comes to Ridley Scott,
I don't like him. I flat out don't like him. And okay, that's a lie. I do like Alien, Blade Runner, The Martian, and I sort of like Gladiator. But so far, that's about it from a lot of stuff I've seen. Like most of his movies, like you described him once to me in an interview where he said that he basically tries to build movies off like the bones of other stories, like very basic bones, and he doesn't really add a lot of meat to the bones that he's crafting a story around. And you do feel it. Like for as much as he's concerned about visuals and such and how people call him a genius for that, rarely does his story ever capture me. Like that's why I tend to gravitate more to his sci-fi stuff because technically the setting already is kind of doing half of the work for his storytelling.
I'm laughing because of because that is so Blade Runner, but carry on.
Oh yeah, but even with sci-fi, he's been getting screwy because Prometheus I just was okay with, and then Alien Covenant pulled off a twist that is so anger-inducing that I legit left the movie angry.
Did it make you want to puke blood just like the character in the Honest trailer?
No, because I saw Pirates of the Caribbean 5 right after, and that was the kind of stupid that I like.
Oh, okay. So at least you saw something that, I guess, counteracted.
Yeah, it
Alien.
went from angry stupid to fun stupid.
Hmm.
So yeah.
But you also told me that whenever Ridley Scott tries to do like Oscar baity based on a true story stuff, that's when he really like when his work really doesn't, cut the mustard.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, because uh, the thing about Ridley Scott that always pisses me off is that he rarely ever. Ridley Scott is pretty much a guy who I've come to say his movies depend entirely on what's written, and half the time, from what I've seen, his more grounded work, if you'll say. I hate the scripts for them. Like I did. That's one of the reasons I didn't like American Gangster. Thelma and Louise pissed me the heck off, and just like any time that there's not a script to hold it all together, you almost solely have to rely on the visuals, and it kind of makes his visuals hollow. And I will say this though, for as much that for as much as I think that he's a genius when it comes to set design and effects and such, his CG is sometimes iffy, and his editing is really hit or miss. Like some movies, like the edits are just right, but a lot of the time I find them to be way too choppy.
Hmm. Which is weird because I remember watching the Ebert and Roper when they reviewed Black Hawk Down. They showed like a scene where a helicopter gets shot by an RPG, and it's like really fast editing. It looks like one of the guys in the helicopter is gonna fall off, and this guy catches him, and it's really fast. like for that kind of editing, I thought that was really effective. But can you give me like an example where his choppy editing really didn't work?
Huh. Well, I guess you can consider, say, how should I say this? Try going into any scene in either American Gangster or any of his movies that doesn't involve a gun, especially with his sword fights. And anytime he tries to focus on stuff that's hand to hand or like focus on that handheld perspective, he just handles it in a way that feels um when I say in choppy, it's disorienting in a bad way. Like it's not being disorienting while showing you something, but trying to keep on looking. No, it's just jumbled up like this. And anytime he tries to move from an edit, anytime something is about to hit, it is in that same. It's kind of like it's kind of doing choppy editing just to make it intense without actually putting a lot of focus on what is being hit.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing goes for his shootouts. Like Body of Lies felt very it felt very toothless. Like despite a movie with that much explosions and guns, you could barely feel any of the explosions or hits.
Hmm. Would you say that's kind of Ridley Scott in a nutshell? Because that's what I get that impression a lot when I look at his trailers for movies like Someone to Watch Over Me, Black Rain, and Black Hawk Down. Because
Or heck, even Blade Runner. Like for as much as we praise Blade Runner, you don't exactly watch the movie for because you don't exactly watch Blade Runner because it has like the best shootout of all time.
no,
Like yeah, like like the shootouts aren't that memorable because that's not the point. So that works,
mm-hmm.
but it, Ridley Scott regarding editing, he's better for stuff where it's more dialogue based or specifically like shots that focus on how vast a setting could be. But time he tries to use quick edits for intensifying stuff, it just doesn't work for me.
I see. And yeah, again, I'm speaking from a mainly impressions perspective. Like the Ridley Scott movies I've seen are pretty much Blade Runner and Thelma and Louise. So I know you really don't like Thelma and Louise, but as far as his career, those are like two of his,
better movies. Yeah.
Well, one's really good. One I didn't think was too bad. You thought it, was pretty awful.
I screamed in that pillow like non-stop every 5 minutes in that movie. It was hilarious.
All right, but yeah, I think we've already covered as much Ridley Scott as we could. But yeah, the reason I asked about the whole based on true story thing is yet again. Again, I don't know too much about All the Money in the World because, I try to approach these trailer reactions with as little information, or like, especially if it's a movie that I'm not overly familiar with. But I think it's about the kidnapping of J. Paul Getty III, which, that description, is that sending any kind of vibes to you, Steven? Like,
I honestly have no idea who that is.
I'm gonna take a gander and guess he's related to the guy the Getty Center in LA is named after.
Oh.
You didn't know that?
We're going all the way back to the Civil War?
No. This is, I believe it's J. Paul Getty III. Like, this looks like a more recent, movie.
Oh, are you talking about the Getty Art Museum?
Yes, not the Gettysburg Address.
Gettysburg. Like, oh man, oh no, he's going back to that true story stuff in the olden times.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is true story stuff, but it's more, recent.
It actually sounds like something Spielberg would do recently. Well, he's currently doing Ready Player One, but you get the idea. I don't know.
It's funny, he's actually making a movie about two Washington Post journalists right now called The Post. So he's already doing a, really tense, based on a true story movie. But Yeah, let's get into All the Money in the World. So, do you have the trailer loaded up?
I've had it all this time.
Okay, so I'll count down. So, three, two,
Two.
one, go.
Whoa.
Whoa, what's going on?
To be a Getty is an extraordinary thing.
What's with the act?
My grandfather wasn't just the richest man in the world. He was the richest man in the history of the world. We look like you, but we're not like you. It's like we're from another planet, where the force of gravity is so strong, it bends the light. It bends people, too.
Who are you people?
Mr. Getty, your grandson.
Miss Getty, we have your son.
Is this some kind of joke?
Am I watching the Dunkirk trailer?
$17 million to release him.
I don't have any money.
You get it from your father-in-law. He has all the money in the world.
Mr. Getty's unavailable. I'm sorry, Miss Getty.
I work for Mr. Getty. I'm gonna help you find your son.
I'm not a real Getty. I just married one. I'm fighting an empire.
We need to pay the ransom. They will do things to Paul that cannot be undone for any amount of money.
No!
I asked as a mother to set my boy free.
We have to show we're willing to walk away.
I can't walk away.
Mr. Getty, how much would you pay to release your grandson if not $17 million?
Nothing.
It's the time of the season for love.
I'm confused.
Confused. You look like you got invested for a second.
I was just puzzled because, okay, you know why? Because it felt like I was watching a trailer to 3 different movies.
Please tell us.
Okay, honestly, the first half of it felt like I was watching the trailer to either a Scorsese or Coen Brothers film. Like, it had sort of like that naughty energy to it that I don't really expect out of Ridley Scott. And then all of a sudden, once it turned into the more kidnapping stuff, it kind of felt more like either Spielberg or I was watching the trailer to Dunkirk, like especially with that Southwestern. And it's like almost that race against time thing. But then all of a sudden when it showed like, oh, Kevin Spacey as J. Paul Getty, that whole thing, that whole statement felt like it was like a trailer to, I don't know how to say, but almost that felt like a line that you hear from maybe not a Tarantino film, but something in that vein of just that blunt of a line, just something that harsh, but said in like a comedic way.
Right.
Oh yeah, it was just like flip flop. Like, what am I watching? But I am curious of how it's gonna turn out because this trailer, even though it's schizophrenic as hell, parts of it actually remind me of Logan Lucky from this year.
Oh yeah,
I love Logan Lucky was a big surprise. Have you seen the trailer to Logan Lucky?
Nope.
Okay, the best way I can describe it without getting too much into spoilers, it's done by Steven Soderbergh, who's famous for the Ocean's 11 movies. But essentially, imagine a heist movie, but it's a feel-good comedy. like it's a clean act with likable, humble characters that get away with the job and end up rich, but in a way that doesn't screw most people over.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a comforting heist movie. That's the best way to put it. But anyhow, you seemed very irritated at the end of the trailer.
I don't know. It was just the kind of code of thumb I hear from a lot of people that watch Ridley Scott trailers, where it's like the trailer can look interesting, but the movie might come out disappointing.
I will say it does have like 3 names I really love: Kevin Spacey, Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Williams, especially after Manchester by the Sea. I've just been eyeing on her all the time. She's fantastic.
That's promising. So, I don't know. For me, like, it didn't give me that, the impression I get from a lot of Ridley Scott trailers where, like, okay, you're gonna get, like, a really, tense, sort of tone, and you're gonna get characters that say really corny lines. Like, it was tense, but at the same time,
like, it was tense mostly in that second half once the kidnapping actually started. Before then, like I said, it felt more like Coen's or a Scorsese, where it's kind of joking around with how rich and crazy they are. Almost.
I think I'm leaning more towards the Coen brothers because, like, the only, like, Scorsese movie I associate with that sort of, naughty, fun tone is Wolf of Wall Street. But, yeah. But
well, that whole thing about, like, look at how rich we are, like, that definitely felt Wolf of Wall Street almost.
I will say that at least they, told us the way the characters said we're rich people. It was, a lot. Like, at least it didn't seem like a typical, like, Ridley Scott movie where they just say it in the most, like, generic ways. I mean, I don't know. That's what I get from a lot of his, like, shows. Is that what happens in his movies in terms of dialogue?
Depends on the writer, because I don't think Ridley Scott writes that much. It all depends on who's actually providing the script. That almost like defines how the characters are talking. What this actually seems like, I haven't seen the movie yet, but it seems like it'll be more in the line of something like Matchstick Men.
Yeah, that's what I felt. Only, obviously, a much darker tone because, like, Matchstick Men is more comedic. So
yeah, it's almost like a matchup. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, it seems like another movie I haven't watched, but it's like, imagine Matchstick Men became Munich.
That's perfect. That's the best way to show. I'm up.
I haven't seen 2 movies, but I just get that feeling like, yeah, Matchstick Men meets Munich.
It's because because you got that sort of funnish sort of tone from Matchstick Men, but you also got, there's a lot of shooting, there's a lot of, I guess you could say scary talk from, Munich, but that's actually probably the best way to sum it up, like, tone-wise. Why am I talking about tone so much?
Well, because this movie was really weird with the tone. And also, we just got done with Isle of Dogs, which that's playing around with that's a thing with Wes Anderson as well. So.
I don't know. For me, this is a case of, I'll wait until, like, let's say, the LA Times reviews this. If they come out and say, it's not very good, I wouldn't be surprised.
Speaking of the LA Times going, meh. Oh man, people are like railing. Well, not railing, but they're very disappointed with Kingsman 2.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I've read a couple reviews from people that I trust, and I kind of have an idea of how this movie's gonna turn out.
Oh boy. I mean, it's such a shame. Like, I know, like, this guy, like, he's probably saying it just to, support the movie, but, when I went to Long Beach Comic-Con, I met the co-creator of the Secret Service comics, Dave Gibbons, and he said, he really liked it. And I would have thought that, yeah, obviously he would say he liked it as sort of a PR move, but it wouldn't be too surprising if it was bad. I honestly wouldn't have been surprised if he didn't like it. He would have just came out and said, no, it's not very good. You know what I mean? Especially, like, if you're the co-creator, or
the whole vibe I'm getting... the whole vibe I'm getting from a lot of critics is that it's not the worst thing you've seen.
No.
But, and it's got a bunch of fun scenes, but it's too long, it's not as fresh, and they kind of remove the heart of it, especially with the whole thing with reviving Colin Firth's character.
Shoot.
Yeah, like, oh man, it's so sad because it was one of my most hyped movies this year. Like,
Same.
I'm acting this disappointed without having even seen the movie because it opens tonight, I think.
Mm-hmm. Like, trust me, when I was doing the Comic-Con trailers, there's Kingsman.
You were hyped.
Yeah, that of the trailers I watched, it was definitely the one that got me, like, super, hyped. Mainly because, the trailers I did were for... Some of them are for movies and shows I was already hyped for, but for Kingsman 2, I was like, yeah, give it to me. I want to check this out. But
yeah, well, here's the biggest warning sign I heard from one of the reviews. That whole scene in the trailers where they're having like that car fight in London, where like Eggsy like jumps out of a car and the car basically just sends him flying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's in the opening act. That's like one of the first scenes in the movie.
I'm honestly not too surprised. But I don't know. Do you still plan to check it out?
I don't know. Like, because of how long it is, like, I don't know if I'll have the time, especially since, like, I honestly think that I'd be using up more time I'd be using the time I'd spend for watching Kingsman 2 for the new Blade Runner instead. Because they're both in, like, the 2.5 hour range.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it's a shame to hear that Kingsman 2 may not have lived up to the hype. So, yeah, I don't really want to go off on a tangent, like, right now, since we were just talking about all the money in the world. But
yeah, Denis Villeneuve, don't betray us. You want our faith with a rival.
Mm-hmm.
Make Blade Runner 2 good.
Yeah, I'm still a little skeptical about Blade Runner 2049, only because I'm still trying to get over how do you continue this story. But at the same time, like, I saw Arrival myself. I really liked it. And even, like, I saw that... Did you see the short film called 2036 Nexus Dawn?
Oh, dude. The thing that it got me to... I haven't seen any of the short films yet, but the thing that got me hyped is this. The first two of those shorts are directed by Ridley Scott's son, I think. And the third, that's going to be the last one before the movie comes out. You've heard the news, right?
No. I thought Luke Scott was making all of them. What,
no, the
is
third
Denny
one,
doing it?
No, the third one is an anime short by Shinichiro Watanabe of Cowboy Bebop fame.
And that's gonna, like, that's one of the official shorts?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, they spent big bucks to get one of the names of anime to make short for him. This is like the last time I ever thought this happened was something like during the Animatrix almost. So yeah, I'm super excited to watch those shorts before the movie comes out.
The 2036 one really sets up Jared Leto's character. It's intense. You'll be scared of this guy.
Are they all on YouTube by any chance?
I know the 2036 one and the one with Dave Bautista are on YouTube.
Okay, then.
So, yeah, so it's promising stuff. So, alright, I think I'm gonna call it here at this point. If we keep going, we're just gonna be, going off on a tangent. So,
Rambling.
I don't know, like, would you see All the Money in the World if you had time?
If it gets good reviews, I'll definitely check it out. I mean, I don't even trust reviews that well because I hated American Gangster and that was highly rated. But I'll give it a look. It definitely looks on. It definitely seems out of his element. But if he does it well, good for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I myself am a fan of when directors, go out of their element, but it still has to be, a good film, obviously. So. Yeah, so I guess some thanks, Stephen, for coming on.
Oh yeah, okay then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I see. I just typed it into YouTube. The two shorts are on there. Oh, by the way, the third one by the Cowboy Bebop director, that one takes place the earliest.
Okay.
2022.
Whoa.
So yeah, it is very close to the first movie. So,
okay.
Honestly, if we have time for it, I think we should make a live react to specifically the one both of us haven't seen, which is that one.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll watch the Luke Scott one beforehand.
I don't know about this week because I'm stacked with other videos I plan to make, but I'll see what we can do maybe next week. So.
Next week could work better anyway, only because I have a bunch of tests coming up.
Okay. Alright, cool. And then I myself, again, I'm probably going to wait for reviews for All the Money in the World. So, in order to be really convinced. To put it bluntly, I'm honestly more hyped for something like Blade Runner 2049. And that's a movie where I'm dubious, but it looks interesting. Whereas this... It looks interesting, but judging from what I hear about Ridley Scott's more grounded work, I need to see at least some kind of, praise in order to get me interested. So,
Understandable.
Yeah. All right. So, thanks, Stephen, for coming on.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for you too.